Some news coming in from Bangladesh. The Constitution Reform Commission, appointed by Chief Advisor Dr. Muhammad Yunus administration, recommended removal of words like secularism, nationalism, socialism from the Constitution. The commission, led by Professor Ali Riaz, also proposed a bicameral parliament for the country, a two-term limit on a premier's tenure, and reinstatement of the provision for referendum to amend the Constitution. The Article 8 of the current Constitution of Bangladesh defines secularism as the fundamental principle of state policy, along with democracy, socialism and nationalism, and yet Islam has been a state religion of Bangladesh since 1988. Earlier in November, just after resuming the office, Dr. Yunus's administration had called for removing socialism and secularism from the country's constitution. According to agency reports, it was argued that socialism and secularism do not reflect the realities of a nation where 90% of the population is Muslim. It was advocated that there should be emphasis on unwavering faith in Allah. Indeed, India correspondent Naval Singh Parmar joins us from Dhaka on the phone line. Naval, if you could just take us through the implications of the recommendations by the Reform Commission, removal of words like secularism, nationalism, something that we understand from the bedrock of the state of Bangladesh. What does it mean?
Advocate General of the Bangladesh, after the taking over by the Chief Advisor, Mr. Yunus, Dr. Yunus, he, as you mentioned, that he called for the removal of the word secularism, nationalism, as well as socialism from the Constitution of Bangladesh, which was inscribed, since the 1972 of Mujibist Constitution. The argument is that the majority population here in Bangladesh is Muslim, and that is 90% of the population, and they said that it doesn't reflect the reality of the country. But the nationalism and secularism are, as you mentioned, are the bedrock of any country or in modern nations or the secular country where the multi-ethnic, multi-linguistic, multi-religious populations are living. And that is the reality of Bangladesh. Here, around 10% of the population are belong to either Hindus or Buddhists or Christians or other indigenous religious people. So they have their says, and they have Bangladesh is their motherland. So they are demanding that it should be there in the Constitution of Bangladesh, and this land belongs to everyone who are Bengali or Bangladeshis. So definitely there were a opposition from the liberal Bengalis as well as the other minority communities against this kind of movement. But the government, current dispensation, interim government is heavily relying on the support of the fundamentalist parties, and the fundamentalist elements are pressurizing to this government to remove the word like secularism, nationalism, and the socialism. In fact, the earlier two government of BNP as well as Awami League, since the 1988, the word Islam made the state religion of Bangladesh, and in 1977, just after the 5 years of the liberation of Bangladesh, the word secularism was removed from the constitution. But in the 2010, the Bangladesh High Court ruled that the secularism and the nationalism and this word are the bedrock of the Bengali constitution, Bangladesh constitution.
Naval Singh Parmar, thank you for joining us with those updates.